Hi everybody, my name's Nathan Repetz. I'm the tire specialist on the Jason Johnson Racing All-Bah 41 team. You've heard a lot of talk about tires in the news lately. Well, we're making some history today at the fabulous Lincoln Speedway. We're rolling out a brand new Hoosier tire. I'm here to give you guys a tech talk and the 5 main differences between the old H tires and these new D tires. Point number 1 is the most obvious difference, and that is the tread pattern on these new tires. If you look down here on the right side, I have one of the old H tires. Of course, this one is used. We used up as much of the stock as we can, and this was grooved, but you see the basic differences here. These old tires were designed to be run one way and one way only. So the shape of the blocks is different from one side to the other. And you'll also notice the Hoosier paint is on the outside of the tire, but it's not on the inside. You come over here to the new DA tire and you'll see that it's designed to be run non-directional. That means there's no right or wrong way to run this. You have the same pattern on one side and the other, and the Hoosier paint is also present on both sides. It doesn't matter which way we run these. This is so we can flip them after we run them a couple times, maybe get sharper edges back after they get feathered, extend the life of our tires a little bit more. You'll also see that the new tires have a lot smaller blocks and there's a lot more holes. These holes are for letting heat out. They're hoping that these will not blister or chunk out or just really get too hot too quickly, extending the life of our tires. Point number 2 is camber of the tires. It's a little difficult to see with our examples in front of us, but long story short, they took the camber out of both of these rear tires. When you look at the old tire, which is dismounted at this point, the outside of the left rear was a little lower than the inside just because of the way the car leans. What they did is they made this new tire completely flat across. That will allow us to flip them and run them the other direction more easily. All right, point number 3 is the compound of the tire. The compound referring to how hard the rubber is. It's easy on the left rear. There was no change. If you're familiar with a durometer, that's still gonna be around the low 30s, around 35 points. But the right rear is where Hoosier made the change. This new right rear tire is about 3 to 5 points harder than the old H tire. With the durometer, I was getting about 38 to 40 points of hardness on the right rear tires. To put that in perspective for you, your all-season car tires are going to be about 60 to 70. So it's still a very soft compound, but they did stiffen the right rears up just a little bit, hoping to let the right rears wear a little bit better as we run them. And on that note with compounds comes to the name of them. When you look at the sidewall of the tires, this block right here shows you what that compound is. Now we are referring to these as D15A for the right rear and D12A for the left rear. We used to have a choice between an H12 and H15 on the left rears. Now almost every team would run an H12 almost every night. So to simplify their production, we are down to one hardness compound, the D12A. It is worth mentioning that they changed the casing options a little bit on the left rears. So 94, it was built to be around 94 inches in circumference. Because of the way these are built, we do get size variations either way. That's how we dial in stagger. Now on the H12 tires, we had a choice between a 92, 94 short, 94 tall, 95 and 96 casing. Now at these D12As, they split the 94s and they got rid of the 95. So our options are 92, 93, 94, or 96. The last major difference is the sidewall stiffness of these tires. This is an old H12 left rear that's dismounted, so I can show you that example. You have the sidewall here They're steel belts coated in rubber. And then what I'm referring to is how flexible, hard or soft this sidewall is. On the right rear tires, they stiffened the sidewalls just a little bit. On the left rear tires, they softened the sidewall just a little bit. And Hoosier believes this will allow the tires to work together as a set a little bit better than they were before. What does this mean for us? Well, when we're out running on the track, a softer sidewall tire can compress under load a little bit easier, but it could also grow up and expand at high speeds a little bit better. So if you were at a large track, you could actually lose a little stagger at the end of the straightaway if your left rear started to grow up. That's something we're going to have to take into consideration with how the weight is transferred, with how our ride heights are, and we're going to see who figures it out a little bit quicker, I guess. So those are the 5 main points of difference between our old and new tires. So for these first couple nights, we're all going to be learning together, giving feedback to our crew chiefs, trying to make changes and put our drivers out front. And make sure you tune in on Dirt Vision if you can't be here in person. I'm Nathan Repetz, and thanks for joining us.